do with mental health. And there is an upcoming mental health parents conference, and the theme for this year is promoting healthy parenting and prioritizing mental health in families. I think today this is quite the time, like the right time for us to be having conversations of this nature. And if you're not new to Good Morning Uganda, you do know that we normally take the time to have conversations regarding mental health with opinion leaders and experts. And today I'm happy to be having this conversation with Niwenyesiga Judith, who is a psychotherapist and also the Executive Director, PACS Mental Health Care Uganda. But also I will be speaking to Miss Bisoboka right on the extreme left, Miss Bisoboka Ruth Michelle, who is a mental health advocate and also social inclusion queen, Miss Tourism Buganda Kingdom. Ladies, you're welcome.
Thank you.
I will start with you, Miss Judith. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. I'm fine. I'm so excited to be here. And, you know, looking at you, I've been seeing you and I'm like, wow. So now seeing you is really a pleasure to be in UBC. And I'm very glad to be here.
All right, I'm glad to meet you, and I'm happy that we are going to have this conversation. Now, Miss Bisoboka Ruth Michelle, yes. Good morning.
Good morning, my dear.
How are you?
I'm very okay.
You're looking beautiful and fresh, like a queen.
Thank you very much. I ought to.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, we get into the conversation, which is promoting healthy parenting and prioritizing mental health in families. So be free to join the conversation on WhatsApp number 0709-602-592. If you have any question or suggestion, opinions regarding mental health and how we can safeguard it and promote it in our families, we would like to hear from you. You can also send a direct message, and I have an expert here, so it's going to be a good ride. And starting with you, Miss Judith, help us understand mental health and why it is crucial for us to uphold it in families. But let's start with understanding mental health and the definition, importance and misconceptions.
Yes, yes. You know, mental health, like it is more of our psychological, emotional, and social well-being of an individual. So that is what we call mental health. I think that is the most important part, that each one of us, as long as you have a head, you have to safeguard your mental health. Yes. And then why is it important, especially when we talk the family? You see, I think I'm very sure that you've been seeing most of young people end up committing suicide. You've seen that. We've seen a number of young people, you know, who are actually portraying antisocial behaviors. And, you know, sometimes we take it to be, you know, bad manners. That's what we always see. But, you know, these are deep-rooted issues that indicators of mental health challenges in an individual. So why family? Family is the backbone of the nation. I would really say that, because nation starts from the family. So now why do we really need to emphasize mental health? Because we need to produce, to get good products. Trust me, if we find ourselves in a very bad mental health state, starting from the family, that means the community is likely not to actually be doing well, then the nation at large. So that's why we need to emphasize mental health. And in most cases, all these challenges that they bring in mental health facilities, that is addiction, anxiety, depression, they are deeply rooted through parenting, how you've raised the child. So it is very, very much important to emphasize mental health care in the family systems. You know, so many young children are really struggling. We've been going in schools, and that is actually what inspired me, why we need really to emphasize mental health through parenting.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So misconceptions.
Yes.
Misconceptions, when you go in families, you know, when a person is mentally challenged in the family, trust me, most of people now, I mean, which we are trying to fight in families, first of all, they think you're lazy. That's what I always actually get from parents. They think you're lazy. You're either spiritually possessed, so they have to take you either to the witch doctors, or maybe they look for a pastor or a priest to pray for you. But still, you see, the more churches are coming in, the more we get mental health cases. You wonder, what is the church doing? You understand? So those are the misconceptions.
Because it's not a church. This is a problem that is not really a church, for the church to solve. Because I think that some of the people you're talking about are usually people that are, let's say, schizophrenic, and we normally call them mad people. I know that from a mental health perspective, we are not even supposed to call people that.
Oh yeah, you're right, you're right, you're right. You know, when we talk of the church, honestly, you know, when we're talking of mental health, we need to engage everyone in the community, and the church is also part of community.
Yes.
Now I can quote the church, I mean, where I pray from, the Catholic Church. It is now the, you know, the Archbishop of Kampala Archdiocese has started up a mental health ministry, Catholic mental health ministry. And even when you go into the teachings of the church, it emphasizes the person is made up of body, soul, and the mind. You understand? So that means if you only want to deal with the spirit, then you're leaving the person a little bit half-baked. So we need to help people, whether they come in church, whether they go in school, we need to emphasize on taking care of our mental wellness, our physical wellness, and our spiritual wellness. Is very important for us to function wholesomely. We have to focus on those areas.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, we are speaking matters mental health, and the point of conversation is promoting healthy parenting and prioritizing mental health in families. And I am having this conversation with Miss Niwenye Siga Judith, who is the psychotherapist and also the executive director, mental health PACS Mental Health Care Uganda. And I'm also speaking to a beautiful queen who is Bisoboka Ruth Michelle. She is a mental health advocate and also a social inclusion queen, Miss Tourism Buganda Kingdom. Now, coming to you, Ruth Michelle. First of all, I'm interested in let me have an understanding of the mental health advocate part of you, and also the Miss Tourism part. How do the two intermarry? Yes.
Good morning, everyone. I'm happy to be here. The way I intermarry the Miss Tourism and the social inclusion, the Miss Tourism and the mental health advocacy is Miss Tourism gave me the platform for me to be able to amplify the voice of mental health, because I was a mental health advocate before I joined Miss Tourism, but it has given me a larger platform where more people can come in to listen to me and to hear the voice and the cry concerning the mental health crisis.
Okay. Yes. Well, I like to see young people involved in conversations of this nature and advocacy of this nature. So from your perspective, I don't know if it is safe for me to assume that you're not yet a parent, are you?
Yes, I'm not yet a parent.
Okay, I'm saying that because we also have the aspect of family in our conversation. But still, even if you don't have, you're not a parent yet, I'm sure you've grown up in a family, you have parents, siblings, and you know that dynamic. So from your perspective, what are some early signs that a parent or child may be struggling with mental health issues?
I think the first sign a parent should note, because each and every single child has a pattern of how they behave and their character and personality.
Yes.
The moment you see a slight shift from how they used to normally behave, if the person like was a jolly child but then they somehow withdrew, they are no longer talking, sometimes even the performance in school, cause mental health destabilizes every entire aspect of your life. Sometimes you just see a child is wayward, very angry, like they're always having those bursts of anger and they just don't want to talk. Those are some of the early signs that my child is going through something.
Okay, and let's also have a look at stress, financial constraints, and relationship conflict. Let me paint a picture. There is this home where we have these parents and probably daddy or mommy are financially constrained. And with that, there is the stress, okay?
Yes.
Or maybe mom and dad are fighting, the marriage is not going well, or maybe even divorce is taking place. What effect does this have on the children in that family?
I think the first thing I'm going to emphasize, because people really undermine the pressure of like financial and economic crises on kids, but I think the recent World Health Organization report has really painted a good picture about that, because recently there was like a study showing that 700,000 people, like the youth, commit suicide every single year, and those youth, like the biggest percentage, are from countries that are really struggling with finances, third world countries. So that means that finances and money and economy has a really big issue on the mental health of the children, because it really destabilizes their self-esteem. Everyone who has grown up from a really poor family knows that there is something that it eats away from you, the fact that you cannot afford the daily necessities of life, that you want something, you can't reach it. It's a very destabilizing thing, and that is why we have to mind and fight hard to come out of the economic crises we are in as third world countries, because they are really breaking the souls of our children. And there's something poverty does, that it shows even the simple things that you would be able to afford or gain, you cannot attain them. So it shows you that you almost can become nothing in life, creating like a very big crisis within a human being. Then the other thing that we can see about domestic violence, because now those are some of the very extreme cases which really break the souls of people, because we as children, the first place where we really get to know how humans relate with each other, how do we love each other, how do people like resolve conflict, is within the family. So if within the family the way conflicts are resolved is in a way that mommy is beaten, mommy's soul is broken down, we are crippled in some sort of way where we get the anguish that, okay, mommy is always being beaten by daddy and I can't help mommy. So
there
you get
also cases of mommy beating daddy.
Oh, okay.
There are
also cases of mommy,
yes,
daddy being beaten by mommy, or
being
disrespecting
yes,
daddy. So in those places, remember, this is a place where the child loves both the mother and father, and they are caught in between how do I respond to how mommy is treating daddy or daddy is treating mommy, and they feel like a helplessness of sort. So it leaves their soul in anguish, and later it shows up in childhood, where that is why they are always susceptible to suicide, because something comes up and they automatically feel helpless, like I can't overcome this, because of the helplessness of the soul that was broken when they were still children.
Okay, and still on that with you, Ms. Bisoboka, there is something I have gotten to learn about in the past couple of years, and that is childhood trauma, and how it calls for how we later on bond with people. You've heard about attachment styles, where we have secure, anxious and avoidant. How do the mental health related challenges we suffer when we are young, how do they now lead to our attachment styles?
So for people who are not well conversant with attachment styles, the major ones are three. There is the anxious, the avoidant, and the secure. And there is also the anxious avoidant, the one who is like confused all over the place. So the secure person, it was like a scientific experiment, but like taken among children. Children whose parents were always like physically present, they are assertive, but they also give them their independence and personal space. Those children were found to be secure. That in case a parent left them in a season or a season of crisis, and the parent came back, those children were able to attach to their parents easily, and without failure. Then the anxious people were the people whose parents are sometimes there, sometimes they're not. Sometimes mommy is going to give you care, the other time she doesn't have your time, she doesn't care how you're feeling. So these are the people when their parents like are around, or in case they even get in adulthood relationships, they're always anxious. They're like, is this person loving me? Are they going to always live? Like something is always going to go wrong. That is what is always in their heads. Then the avoidance are the people who had parents who are like totally not involved in their lives. They were not attentive to their needs as children, even when they were crying, even when they needed like daddy to assert them. So when these people grow up, they're the adults you find, you're trying your level best to love them, but they're just pushing you away. Every time you come close, they are running out. It's like they're running away from love. They feel like they cannot depend on anyone. They cannot trust anyone. Nothing can happen. Then the last type, the anxious avoidant, the one who is confused, are the people who are parents. Sometimes they are present, then another time they are not present, and then there are periods in their childhood where the parent was just not present, like they abandoned them. So the child is all over the place, and these are the things that are majorly creating the relationship stresses that we are seeing, the heartbreaks that are all over the place because of these deeply rooted childhood problems. And most times people don't know that, okay, my boyfriend is an avoidant. It was because his dad abandoned them as a family. My girlfriend is anxious. It was because the dad used to come home sometimes and sometimes used not to come home. We just say, this girlfriend of mine is problematic, let me leave her. Yet the problems are deeply rooted in the childhood trauma the person went through.
And most times these are also now entrenched in the families that these people
later create because they don't know that this is the problem, and that is how the cycle continues to the next generation.
Okay, we will get to talk even more about that, but let me come back to you, Judith. In Uganda, for example, what are some of the cultural or societal barriers that prevent families from openly having conversations regarding mental health?
Thank you so much. This is a good question, and it's something that everyone needs really to internalize, because way back, mental health. Actually, I really thank Uganda so much for what it is really doing, especially when it comes to mental health and creating awareness, like what we are doing right now. But way back, it has been always looking at mental health as first of all, you're immoral. Secondly, they look at a person who is, for example, if you're mentally ill, like as I told you before, which is actually still happening, is that this kind of how they look at mental health is that most of Ugandans or most of people, be it in our family and in the community or in the society, there is a misconception that is really happening all over, where they look at families, at someone who is mentally sick as someone who is, first of all, as I told you, someone who is lazy, someone who is spiritually possessed, and they look at always seeking for help from, like as I told you, spiritual and local doctors, and sometimes you find that they mess up the lives of these people. So that's what I would really say about that.
Okay, and let's now go back still in the family. In your perspective as an expert, how can parents create an emotionally safe and supportive environment at home?
Thank you so much. You know, I personally am a parent. You know, I'm a parent, or I'm a mother of two, and sometimes it's good to always treasure your presence before the children, because she has been talking about being present for these children. You know, most of us who've been into money, we have to go and work, we have to go and look for,
because taking care of the children also requires money.
Yes, true. Yeah, it really requires money, and we need money. That is the real truth. However, we need to strike a balance.
Okay.
We need to strike a balance. Leaving these children for the maids, you don't know what the maids are doing for these children. And You know, I can give an example, myself. You know, when I had started working, I really wanted to get money. So I was almost everywhere. So I left the
everywhere, but like in your home.
Yes, in my home. Yes, I was, you know, you can be home, but not present.
Yes, very true.
And that time I noticed that I wasn't really present for this child. And it so happened where the maid was really a little bit torturing this child. Whenever I would want to go, the child unconsciously would just wake up and start crying, and I couldn't imagine what was really happening until I discovered that, you know, I need to give this child time. You know, children speak even when they are young. So I started giving them to her time until I discovered that he was really, really tortured. He used to be really tortured by the maid. So being present, first of all, you become a friend to this child. We need to be friendly to this child, but of course not to be colleagues. Sometimes there is a tendency of parents also be too friendly to children, and we also end up spoiling our relationship.
Your authorities.
And our authorities, yes. So sometimes you find that a parent, you can't differentiate between a parent and a child. So, but at the same time, we also need to make sure that we give them a space for them to express themselves. If they are hurt and they are angry, let's not stop them from crying. Crying
allow
is
them
normal.
to express their emotions.
Yes, we allow them to express their emotions. It's really very, very important. And two, if you start observing a child like withdrawing, not enjoying activities the child used to enjoy, we sit them down. And if they cannot open up, we need to seek for help. You know, we can reach out to any professional, but at times also we have to mind about individuals or people we are trusting our children with. Two, what we expose to children, because we are now building up the emotional intelligence, the emotional wellness of these children. Mind about what we expose to children. If you leave TV, you know, watching TV is good, and but it depends what are they watching. Sometimes they are watching violent movies. And remember, this children's memory, this children's mind is still fragile. So once they start watching those emotional and violent movies, these are the things that they start now portraying outside the world. So it's very important. The schools we take these children to, it's also very important. How is their, you know, do they really shape their morals? Do they support them? Because sometimes schools are, sorry to mention that, they are only into academics. Academics, you know, money, academics, but they are not also looking at where these children are coming from or the mental or emotional wellness of these children. So we need to mind about to whom we expose our children to as well.
Well, thank you so much, Judith. You have really gone deep and made us understand many things. You did say something about you know, the things we expose our children to. Their brains are still young, and it's important for us to know that the frontal lobe of a child, which is at the front of the brain, and this is the one that leads to, you know, decision making, problem solving, emotional regulation. It's not actually fully developed up until what, 25? Around there? Yes. So what you expose your children to is really important. Now, I have a few views coming through, and Leah says, the first one is from Leah. She says, good morning, Uganda. Mental health is important in families because, let me see. Okay, she says mental health is important in families because it all starts there. A child should be filled with positive energy like respect, being patient, trustworthy, loving, caring, and withstanding pressures. And the next message is from Zeno Mongofemi from Toro. He says, thanks so much for this passionate discussion. The challenge now is the rampant unchecked social media use by young people, substance use and peer pressure, which greatly and negatively impact the children's behavior in the homes. Parents need to go back to the olden days parenting styles to curb this. And he ends with thanks for the show, so thank you so much. And Favor says, good morning Uganda, I'm Ayebali Fred in Kakumiro. Thank you for the wonderful discussion, because mental health knowledge is very crucial in our families and society at large. And the next comment comes in from Joy, who says, good morning Monica, I'm Joyce from Entebbe. For sure, domestic violence among parents has caused a great impact on mental health of children in families. Children have become heartless just due to the domestic violence between the family members. Some children have ended up on the streets, while others end up making poor families when they grow up. Lastly, those children end up lacking trust in everything. And she ends with a question, she says, my question is it easy for such a child to regain trust again? And Bisobok, I would like for you to answer that. And then she says, I heard you talking about conference. Where will it be? Okay, as we come to the end of our conversation, first of all, Bisoboka, Ruth,
Yes.
for a child that has experienced all these traumas, as they grow up, maybe the trauma from the parents fighting and, you know, financial constraints, the challenges we really discussed earlier, is it possible for them to actually heal from all of that and become better individuals?
My answer to that is going to be a yes. It is possible for a child who has gone through all, probably the worst case scenarios for a child to grow up into totally healed. But that comes from the awareness that they really have a problem. And most people don't even know that they have a problem. Most people, especially in Africa, we have the notion of, like, for us, we were brought up the hard way, and so it just perpetuated onto the next generation. So the problem is it has to be amplified and our voices heard. That this is not the only route we ought to go as African people, that we can do better and we can heal, but the healing starts from the awareness that the patterns are wrong and we ought to change them. And for the people who have grown up in situations where there were like domestic violence, extreme poverty, I think each and every single person should go to a psychologist, a therapist, and become diagnosed, because everyone has a problem, and that problem is affecting how you're working, is affecting how you're relating with people, and it is affecting your worldview as well. So the first thing for someone to even totally heal from the mental health crisis or problem is to know that they have a problem. Because when you know you have a problem, you're going to take the necessary steps to heal from that problem. So my answer is yes, if you work together with the right people who have the right tools to help you, and you're also willing as a person to overcome and break the patterns, you can totally heal.
Okay, well, thank you so much. And I normally say that therapy is to the mind what exercise is to the body. So if you go to the gym to make sure you're fit, you should also go for therapy to ensure that your mind is also fit and healthy. Now, I do understand that there is a conference that is coming up. Please, Judith, tell us more about the conference. When is it? Where is it taking place? And is there a fee?
Thank you so much for this. Surely, this conference, as you've said, that our theme is more of, promoting healthy parenting and prioritizing mental health in families.
Yes.
And once we prioritize mental health in families, then that means we are building strong minds. And building strong minds, that means we are going to have strong communities and a strong nation. So therefore, we have organized this program for parents.
Okay.
And these parents, of course, we are looking, when we talk of parents, we are not only looking at those who have given birth. No. We are looking at caregivers. We are looking at teachers, because schools are also actually parenting our children. And we are trying to see how best we can also have a dialogue, discuss. They come and also express their, like we've been talking about domestic violence. Some of our parents have been into domestic violence. Some have ended up divorcing, and they don't know how to handle such issues with children. Most of these issues are going to be discussed during this program, And the invited guests, of course, they are, I mean, the speakers, they are experts. Like we have one of our guests of honor who is, you know, mental health expert. At the same time, she's the commissioner of Mental Health Uganda under Ministry of Health. So we are going to speak to parents. And this is going to have to take place at Ulika, Entebbe. Ulika Guest House, that's where we are going to be. And
when is the date? The
date is 14th to 15th of March. That is Friday and Saturday. Yes.
Is there a fee?
Yes, there will be a fee, and would like them to take our contacts so
Please
that you
share
know
the contact.
Yes, yes. So you can call whoever would like really to reach out to us. Can call 758 8735 87.
Okay.
758 35 87, no, 758 8735 87. That is the contact. But also you can also call WhatsApp number, which is 767195054. So that is the number that you can contact, so that we have you know, for more information and for more clarities.
Okay, well, thank you so much. I have been speaking to Miss Niwenyesiga M. Judith, who is a psychotherapist and ED, that is Executive Director, PACS Mental Health Care Uganda. And I've been speaking to Bisoboka Ruth Michelle, who is a mental health advocate and also a social inclusion queen, Miss Tourism Buganda Kingdom. Thank you, ladies, for being a part of the conversation. Yes. And Good Morning Uganda does continue. Now, up next is Good Morning Uganda Tourism Express. And today we are looking at sailing safe and free, the MV Sigulu experience to our secret destination. So please stick around as Zakia Lucky takes us through that. And later on, Julie F. Nantaba Musesi will be coming back with Good Morning Uganda business updates. And I'll be back later with the agenda. Stick around.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda. Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Are you excited as I am this morning, especially that I take you to field with me in the northeastern part of Uganda? Good morning, and my name is Zakia Lucky. Welcome on the GMU Tourism Express. I'm super excited that today we are going to be talking about one of those places that I have always wanted to visit, and today we are finally going to make it there. I don't know what to expect, but I'll be taking you with me. When we get there, see what it has to offer, and I don't even want to spoil for you. Just wait for it in the next episode. But behind me is Lake Victoria, and there's MV Sigulu ferry that everyone is going to board, just like myself, as we head to our destination. I'm not mentioning the destination as yet, but just wait for it. I'm more than excited. Like you can see, it's just all good vibes. So stick around and let's get to experience this together. Like you can see, the ferry has set off, and by the way, it's free means of transport, and thank you to the government of Uganda, because it loads a lot of people. I see vehicles getting on the ferry, I see people being transported from different places, and if it's free, that's a plus one in the tourism industry. I'm super excited for where our destination is going to be. Like I told you, it's going to be my first time, and it's one of those places that I've always wanted to get to. Now just stick around with us, and like I told you, expect nothing less from where our destination is going to be. I already told you how excited I am, because it is this one place that I've also always wanted to visit. Now I can't wait to just give you all the details about this particular place. I'm not spoiling as yet until we get there. It's an adventurous morning, and we are coming live to you all the way from the northeastern part of Uganda. We are at MV Sigulu this morning, navigating as we head to our final destination that we will be highlighting about today's tourist attraction that we're talking about. But with me is the captain that is going to be telling us about this ferry and so much more that happens in this particular place. We are excited to have you on our show today.
Oh, thank you. It's Ibrahim, my name. Welcome to MV Sigulu, which is under Ministry of Works and Transport, that is Government of Uganda. We provide services for free. These services are catered for by the government, so it is your taxes money to enjoy these services. MV Sigulu operates 6 days in the week, from Monday to Saturday. And that's why, and since that we're connecting the road, we don't have special days, whether it's a public holiday, whether any day, as long as fits in those 6 days. Its carrying capacity, it takes 300 passengers, 12 vehicles, and it has 2 destinations. There is Siguru Island, that's the first destination. After shunting from Siguru Island, then we proceed to the tourism island, that is Dore Island. We always get tourists to that place. It's so beautiful. I think you will enjoy it. This vessel, there's a day someone asked me about its safety. So that was a concerned question. And this vessel, what I can assure you, it is too safe, because we have all the navigation equipment, like it even can move at night. As you see this radar indicates that even at night we can observe all the objects. It has echo sounder to observe the depth down, so it sends the sonar down to observe even objects which can be down. That's safety. And it has the GPS to control the route, so we can't get lost. We have other safety apparatus like ring buoys in case of an emergency. We have life raft. This life raft is ever standby. It has the carrying capacity of 25 passengers. In case of any problem and we are going to abandon the ship when there is fire, we just immerse this pin, it goes off. It becomes like a balloon. Then people who have already drawn the life jacket, they will go into this. It has food and water to rescue you until you go to the safest place. Down, each one has the carrying capacity of 25 passengers. In case of rescue, it has food for survival until the rescue team comes. We have a rescue boat. As I told you, this is a rescue boat. It helps in rescuing man overboard, abandoning the ship. Abandoning the ship normally happens when we have fire on board. So it's ever standby. It has an engine. So we just put it on water, we immerse it, then we proceed. Also, to rescue in case of any emergency, we have a clinic. I think it is operated under Health Center 2 grade, but all the services on the ferry are free of charge. Any service. So since from where you enter from, registration up to your destination.
That is transportation, free meals on the ferry, free everything.
Apart from the meal, I mean the meal, but medical services are free of charge. This is when you see this sign here, it means life jacket box. We keep life jackets from here in case of anything. These are the life jackets we keep. We give you a life jacket when there is an emergency on board. So from there we can go for other rescue apparatus. As you say, our passengers are safe because we have prizes have on board, and that is a rainbow. This rainbow is here. It has a what we call grab line. This is a grab line, and this is a, so when there is an emergency, we just pull this rope, we throw in water, we pull you. For you have to get the grab line only. You'll be safe. We have the fire extinguisher, the water hydrants, and also our team. We have a crew was trained in marine and on marine standard, international marine standard. Since this vessel is under IMO, that is International Marine Organization, so they are all trained in terms of safety to rescue you, and we guarantee your safety. Unless there are some disasters which we cannot avoid, but I think 99% we guarantee your safety. So enjoy the voyage.
Oh, thank you. And what are some of those measures that people that are going to take this ferry for their first time should know about?
We always have what we call, this ferry has 3 groups. We have the engine team headed by the chief engineer. We have a navigation team headed by the captain and who is the overall. Then we have the deck department. So the deck department always guide them about their safety. One, unnecessary movement, because there is what we call roaring. Once the weather changes, the vessel can roll, and then sometimes other people are not, they have health complications, so they can drown, or they can do what we call man overboard. Man overboard, that's falling from the ship into the water. So we always guide them. We have security also to keep controlling people who are not sober until they reach their final destination. We have women in marine. Here on our vessel we have Captain Yadera Komgisha. Is going to navigate you from the first destination to the final destination, but does not mean she has acted today. In fact, she is committed to see that she is celebrating marine on duty. So she has been here, she has experience internationally, and I think it's not her first time to operate the vessel. As you see, she doesn't have any guidance and she's committed.
Yeah.
I know when you get time, you will also ask her what intended her to join marine, yet the marine is known for men. Also the seafarers are ever men. So we have some team in the Ministry of Works who are women, but they are scarce. The ratio is, the percentage is still like a 20%.
How many more do you have then, just like her?
Like on MVS Go we have 2, but in total in Ministry of Works, I think they can be not more than 20. Yeah.
That's a good number. That's a good number.
So Captain Adela, you ask her her motive, her intention, why you joined marine, because she knows much more than me.
Finally arrived at Dolway. It's a busy place, so many activities going on here, and I can see the rocks already. I don't know if these are the Dolway rocks that I'm seeing, but there's quite so many and all looking so beautiful. I earlier told the navigator on how beautiful what I can see is, and she told me no, they actually better rocks. They look better than just what you see. So I'm super excited, can't wait to explore this land. It's my first time again, and I really look forward to the experience, get to know about the people living in this area, how they're living, see if there's one or two things I can learn from this area. Stick with me and let's have fun together. Yay!
Well, it's good to learn that you can actually travel for free as well as receive free medication with MV Sigulu's experience. Welcome back from GMU Tourism Express. Time for GMU Business. Thank you, Zakia Lucky, for that story. Very interesting one indeed. And I think I look forward to visiting MV Sigulu. But my name is Julie F. Nantaba Musisi. And looking at what we have in business today, well, let's start with matters banking. Kampala is at the center of global financial discussions as Uganda hosts the Global Alliance for Banking on Values, GABV annual meeting for the first time in Africa. Now, the prestigious conference organized by Centenary Bank kicked off yesterday at Munyonyo's Peak Resort, bringing together over 70 financial institutions from around the world. The focus, reshaping the future of banking through ethical and sustainable finance, with financial institutions managing over $200 billion in assets and serving more than 60 million customers globally. The Global Alliance for Banking on Values Network is championing a shift towards value-based banking. The meeting's discussions centered on the theme resilience in the face of multiple crises, how value-based banks are leading the way. Now, a major highlight of the opening day was the keynote address by Dr. Mafela Ramphil, co-president of the Club of Rome and former managing director at the World Bank. She emphasized the urgent need for banks to prioritize sustainability and financial inclusion. Panelists discussed how banks can maintain financial resilience while addressing climate change, social inequality, and economic instability. They also explored the role of policy and regulation in strengthening ethical finance. And with discussions set to continue over the next 3 days, experts hope to develop actionable solutions that will drive a more responsible and inclusive financial sector. Now, as the GABV annual meeting unfolds at Munyonyo's Peak Resort, Uganda is taking center stage in shaping the future of ethical banking. Now, let's move on to matters telecom issues. With 38.6 million active cellular connections as early as 2025, representing 76.2% of the population, Uganda's telecom market is growing steadily. However, only 14.2 million Ugandans are internet users, reflecting a low internet penetration rate of 28%. Now, this disparity highlights the challenges of bridging the digital divide with remains of priority for both government and private sector players. The government has invested heavily in extending high-speed internet to undeserved areas through projects like the National Backbone Infrastructure, NBI, and the Uganda Digital Acceleration Project, UDAP. These initiatives aim to connect all sub-counties by laying thousands of kilometers of optical fiber and building transmission sites. Meanwhile, private telecom operators such as MTN and Airtel are expanding their network coverage, with MTN targeting 90% geographical reach by the end of 2025. Airtel has already achieved 100% 4G coverage across Uganda, and despite these efforts, internet affordability remains a pressing issue. The average cost of 1 GB of data in Uganda is approximately 5,000 Uganda shillings, making it one of the most expensive in East Africa. Neighboring countries like Kenya and Rwanda offering significantly cheaper rates. Now, while the government has pledged to halve internet costs by January 2025, consumers still face challenges such as limited network coverage in rural areas and inconsistent service quality. And consumers also raised concerns about transparency in telecom services. Many complain about the unclear terms for new products, hidden costs in mobile money transfers, and unexplained data depletion. And while some operators have introduced non-expiry data bundles to address these issues, consumers demand long-term solutions for fair pricing and reliable services. Now, looking at matters tourism, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has flagged off 9 French and Spanish media influencers and travel journalists for a familiarization and content creation tour in Uganda. The Permanent Secretary Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Vincent Bajire, highlighted the importance of sharing Uganda's beauty with our countries through influencers. Now, this group of 9 media influencers and travel journalists from France and Spain are embarking on an immersive tour of Uganda. The delegation, led by the Ugandan Embassy to France, Spain and Portugal, was officially flagged off by Vincent Bajire, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And this tourism initiative aims at positioning Uganda as a must-visit destination for French and Spanish-speaking travelers by leveraging curated content created and market storytelling. Now, the media influencers expressed confidence that their content will effectively showcase Uganda's diverse tourism offerings, making them more accessible and appealing to travelers from their respective countries. France and Spain are among Europe's leading outbound tourism markets, with millions of travelers seeking unique and authentic experiences worldwide. And Uganda now looks to tap into this market by offering its rich cultural heritage, wildlife, and scenic landscapes. Now let's look a bit at matters insurance. It's Insurance Week, and the Insurance Appeals Tribunal has reported a high increase in cases of complaints filed by the public. Now, the trajectory is linked to the enhanced sensitization of the industry, which has attracted potential premium consumers. This was during the official opening of the 2025 Insurance Week in Lugogo, and the annual Insurance Week organized by the Insurance Regulatory Authority brings together industry players and policies. Sector players are urged to incorporate innovation and updated technology to match the market competition and enhance access. And the Insurance Appeals Tribunal unveiled improved insurance uptake by the public. This is inclined on the complaints registered, which represents transparency of the industry. Now, the shortened time during claims response is attracting more business people towards the sector, and insurance intend to leverage on digitalization to innovate more favorable premiums. And the 2025 annual Insurance Week is themed on redefining innovation, trust, and inclusivity, and players are urged to uphold these principles while building trust towards sector development. Now it's about 3 minutes to 8 a.m. Let's look at what we have with the Forex rates today, and looking at the US dollar as of 11th March 2025, it was buying at 3,664.00 and sold at 3,674.00, and by midday it was at 3,664.14 buying and selling at 3,674.14 selling. Now it closed in at 3,664.36 buying and sold at 3,674.36 selling. Now let's look at the pound. The pound as of 11th March was buying at 4,718.59 and sold at 4,731.47, and the euro was buying at 3,972.16 and sold at 3,983. And looking at the Kenyan shilling, It was at 28.37 and sold at 28.45, and the Tanzanian shilling was at 1.39 and selling at 1.39, and the South African rand was buying at 199.99 and selling at 200.53. Well, that's it from the world of business. Good Morning Uganda does continue, and Olive Monica Najuma is coming up with the agenda, so stick around as you contribute, pay attention, learn, unlearn and relearn on the topic of the day. My name is Julie F. Nantaba Musisi. Stay tuned.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Was brought to you by.
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't go.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000. Or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100 *21 hash and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Juko.
Yo.
Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, they stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Maskari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archived stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
We're going to be talking about farming, but it's not me that's going to do that.
My name is Hava K. Luanga.
My name is Larry Charles K.
Let's go!
Mixed farm is a type of farming that involves growing crops and raising livestock. This is the spice garden and for the vegetables.
My first favorite spice has to be black pepper.
What's black pepper in Uganda?
Kamulali or mudagavu.
What? We're going to talk about the sechunga. We're going to see how big it is, as big as Larry's head. And then we're going to talk about the mangada. So we're going to get there. We have still so many farms to visit, and I would like to hear from you. This is the Little Farmer Show, and we are bringing coolness back to farming. See you!
In all these years, we emphasize two words: wealth and jobs. And we try to waken our people up to show them where wealth and jobs come from.
The Parish Development Model, PDM, is a bold initiative that is reshaping Uganda's rural economy. By allocating 100 million shillings to each parish annually, PDM empowers households by unlocking opportunities for wealth creation.
This program will be maintained. Each year we send 100 million for the parish. If you get the 1 million, you can buy some goats, you can buy some pigs, you can buy even young cows.
Farmers are transitioning from subsistence farming to commercial agriculture, laying the groundwork for wealth creation and improved livelihoods.
This project started 11 years ago after an inspiration from His Excellency. And that time I was working as a taxi driver. I was doing that Masa business in Soroti, and he was talking about how to improve household income.
With the PDM, you bring back the money after 24 months. But in the third year, you would get another 100 million paid back by those who got first.
The President's message is a mindset changer. Becoming rich does not mean you should have a lot of land, you should have a lot of education, you just need a vision and implement and start from where you are.
So therefore, this PDM is to get all of you out of poverty. That's why we said 100 million per parish per year.
This message is brought to you by the Ministry of ICT and National Guidance.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Well, good morning once again. It's Good Morning Uganda. My name is Olive Monica Najuma, and we are right on track for our agenda segment. It is 6 minutes past 8 o'clock. You're welcome. Let's delve into a conversation that is very crucial to Uganda's economic development, and that is investing in cooperative education in Uganda. Now, cooperative education is a powerful tool that equips individuals and communities with the knowledge and skills needed to build sustainable businesses and financial independence. But I am not the expert on this. I have the experts to have this conversation and why it is really important for us to pay attention to cooperative education. Now, I will be speaking to two ladies, and that is Miss Justine Kainza, who is the head of partnerships at the Uganda Cooperative Alliance, and also Associate Professor Rachel Mindra, who is the Dean of Faculty of Commerce, Makerere University Business School. Like I said, I am speaking with experts, so come along, join me, let's have the conversation. Ladies, good morning, you're welcome.
Good morning, Olive. Thank you for having us this morning, and good morning, viewers.
Okay, Justin, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Olive. Yes, and good morning, our viewers.
Okay, so there we have it, and let's delve right into our conversation. I'll start with you, Justine. First of all, help us understand what is cooperative education and how does it differ from traditional business education?
Thank you so much, Olive. Maybe before cooperative education, I'll just give a highlight of what a cooperative is. A cooperative is an association of persons united voluntarily. Persons who come together to meet their social, economic or cultural needs through a democratically controlled enterprise and democratically elected leadership. So people come together with a common purpose. And globally, we operate on 7 principles. Principle 1 is open and free membership. 2 is democratic control. 3, member economic participation. 4, autonomy and independence. 5, which we are discussing today, is education, training and information. Then we have cooperation among cooperatives and concern for community. So our principle of education, training and information is a key principle in the cooperative movement. It is through this principle that we can get information, that we can get to know the skills in the cooperative movement, that we can build capacity of the cooperative leaders, the cooperative members, towards the success of the cooperatives at different levels. So as Uganda Cooperative Alliance, we have seen a gap in the cooperative sector. We have seen a gap in cooperative education sector. That's why we have come up to drum up for cooperative education in Uganda. We want to see it scaled up. Currently, Olive, if I'm to just take a brief history, Uganda's cooperative education journey is traced way back in the 1940s. And during that time, we had the informal education. People would just come together, maybe in school premises, during the holidays, or under trees to enlighten the cooperative officers at the time. But you know, as time evolved, we saw in 1947 that there was need for the colonial officers to have skilled persons to represent in the East Africa and the different countries, which were the East African community then. They wanted commercial officers who are skilled, who are equipped. And at that time, the capacity was limited. So in 1949, the registrars of the 3 countries, which was Uganda, Tanganyika at the time, and Kenya, came up with an idea of establishing the East African School of Cooperation. So that's how we see the education journey, the cooperative education journey, begin in the East African community. And in 1950 actually, that was when they budgeted for it. And 1951, commencement of the construction was on. 1952, this school was launched, and we saw people from the different countries of East Africa, Uganda, Tanganyika, and Kenya at the time, went there to acquire such skills. And in Uganda particularly, you can talk about 1954, maybe in Nsamizi. That's when we saw cooperative education embraced to train the the cooperative officers at that time, the registrars, the chiefs, not parish chiefs, they were chiefs at that time, and the protectorate officials. So they wanted the cooperative education because at the time people were organized into cooperatives, but they needed these skills to run them. We had the old traditional cooperatives, the Masaka cooperative unions, the Lango, Bugishu, Banyankole, Kweterana, but the colonial government saw it wise that people should have skills, peculiar skills, people who would understand these principles better, because if you understand the cooperative principles best, that's when you can promote the growth of cooperatives in a country. So I see that the difference between is when one understands the principles of cooperation, because even today government is taking on the parish development model, the PDMs and the MIOGAs. Now this is a model which needs someone who is grounded in cooperatives. In fact, when we look at the Cooperative Societies Act, we recommended that we should have a cooperative officer in each sub-county. But in the colonial times, we had them at parishes. So because that was the model, the development model at the time, so it was easier. It was the government at the time. So it was that we should have people who are skilled in cooperation, bring people together to achieve development. Because since the colonial times, we knew this was the model that is self-sustaining, that is self-made, because people come together with a common purpose. So we looked at issues of sustainability. So that's the brief I can give about the cooperative.
Okay, thank you, Justin. Now I have Professor Mindra here. Meanwhile, when I heard your name, I could have sworn that you're Indian. Now, Professor, getting into the conversation, how has cooperative education been integrated into Uganda's higher education system?
Okay, thank you, Olive, and great question there. First of all, I want to bring warm regards from the principal of Makerere University Business School, Professor Moses Muhwezi, whom I do represent as the head of institution. But right back to your question, incorporating cooperatives education into our curriculum, as an institution of higher education, but also being a public institution, probably I'll start there. Ours is to make sure that we align ourselves with the development agenda of this country. And by engraving cooperatives into our programs is saying that as Makerere University Business School, a public institution, we are aligned with moving this initiative, which is one of the greatest development agendas in this country. So how are we incorporating cooperatives education into our curriculum? We are a business and management institution, and that alone, business and management are very, very core to the cooperatives. Cooperatives have to be business oriented. Cooperatives have to manage, not just to manage the resources or the finances, but they have to manage the members. Cooperatives have to have great governance structures for them to see sustainability and to operate effectively and to achieve the goals for which cooperatives were established in this country way, way back in the centuries ago, as Justine has indicated. So for us as an institution, we have been providing specific management and business programs, from your accounting to finance to marketing to strategy, strategic management, to branding, to international business, internationalizing of businesses, entrepreneurship, innovation, leadership. All these are with computer related digitization to align ourselves with the times. We have different management areas which deals with planning, with organizing, all these dimensions of business and management the institution has delivered. Why am I saying this? These alone are very, very critical to cooperatives and also professionalizing cooperatives. And this is what we are looking at. So at the moment, we've partnered with Uganda Cooperatives Alliance and Moshi University in Tanzania, which Cooperatives University. And this is to say that we don't just want to put a cooperatives course into the curriculum to just be one of those that someone studies and it passes. We are saying we want to develop programs that are focused on cooperatives so that someone can actually come and start a career in cooperatives. Justine here is a typical example of someone, and many others within the the alliance who have actually taken on a career in cooperatives. So at Makerere University Business School, we have partnered to understand what are the needs of cooperatives in this country. So many, over 18 million cooperatives, I think, in this country. What are their needs? So that we come in as an institution to develop programs that are tailored to the needs and to also contribute to the sustainability and ensuring that these are professionalized, are also impactful in the way they deliver. So as an institution, Olive, we have started on the development of these programs so that someone can actually start from the different levels up to even a PhD in cooperatives, so that we continue to sustainably change the cooperatives, professionalize them, and also we are going to develop short courses so that people can come and have a quick understanding of, say, financial management in cooperatives, governance in cooperatives. How do I strengthen resource mobilization in cooperatives? How do I innovate? Can we even provide at MOOBS, we have the incubation and innovation center, entrepreneurship. Can we support businesses or incubate startups and support them within our curriculum so that we're able to even instill the entrepreneurial side of cooperatives within the way they operate? We shall continue with the conversation, but that's my response to that question.
All right. And I love the response. You really painted for us a very clear picture. But as a trainer, someone who really understands this, and then you teach others, basically you're shaping the future of cooperatives in the country. What would you say are the key benefits of cooperative education for students and professionals?
Okay. Thank you, Olive. The benefits are immense. I'll reflect on Nelson Mandela's quote that education is the most powerful weapon which can create change. But also, when we look at the International Labour Organization report of 2023, they say that education, especially if we talk about it in the frame of cooperatives, education is that cornerstone that is going to help people participate more, understand more, and get the best out of whatever initiative they're involved in. So the benefits, first of all, of cooperative education is it will get people to understand the value of cooperatives. In this country, we are laboring with things like access to finance. Access to finance through the formal institutions has become quite difficult. So when we cooperate and come together, there is a lot of potential in terms of access to financing, the different values of networking, and coming together as a group of people to support each other, to grow, to become better entrepreneurs, to become better leaders, and also to elevate ourselves. But most importantly, education, what education does is to change a mindset. To change a mindset, to improve attitude towards different activities like business and leadership and different areas of life. When you undergo the different trainings of cooperatives education for our students or professionals out there, or people who are participating in these cooperatives but do not have the weapon to participate effectively, to address the challenges that are being experienced in cooperatives, especially financial management. We know that many of the cooperatives are struggling with managing finances. When people collect money, some people are tempted to run away with this money. So when people know the principles of financial management in their entirety, they're able to manage finances better on behalf of the members, and also ensure the sustainability and the long haul of these cooperatives. Secondly is the issue of governance. We've seen a lot of challenges around governance, and we're teaching our students, it's just not managing a cooperative, but governance in living, in being, in responsibility, in going to manage institutions, to managing homes, to managing relationships, you know? So governance is multi-pronged, and this is one of the critical areas there. The other thing we're battling with is resource mobilization. Through this training and this education, our students need to learn, let's get out of this narrative, government to Yambi. We are waiting for government to solve our problems. What about learn how to write grants, how to write proposals, which we do at our institution, and what we actually teach within that. What about learning about innovation, creativity, and entrepreneurship? And this is what we want our students to do, not to just become job seekers, but to go and innovate. We're in a business and management institution. These are the things our students should come out with and go. Leadership. We're having issues with leadership at family level, at institutional level, at national level. We're all seeing all these aspects around leadership coming along. But also, I want to delve into the issue of contributing, our students understanding that through entrepreneurship and management of businesses, they can contribute to the agenda of, as a country, we are moving towards, we're trying to do export promotion and import substitution. These cooperatives are a place where this can be done, where we can nurture value chain within businesses to support value chain contribution and so many things. So the benefits are immense, but we're also giving government an opportunity to realize Principle 5, education, training, and information. It is the duty of the government through public institutions to see that citizens get education, our students are empowered through education and providing information, and with the information we make the world better. So the benefits, Olive, I can go on and on and on, but in the interest of time and to give an opportunity to Justine also to contribute,
yes,
they are actually immense, and these are going to certainly see us improve the way we do business, and also to see cooperatives, to see our students, professionals thrive better if they are able to undertake these professional certifications to understand how management, leadership and business is run within these spaces.
Okay.
Thank you, Olive.
Thank you so much, Professor. And now I'll go to Justine. Let's look at the current state of cooperative education in Uganda. Justine, how would you, in your perspective from the Alliance, but also in working with cooperatives and studying the environment of the same, how would you assess the current level of awareness and adoption of cooperative education in the country?
Thank you, Olive. Currently, cooperative education in Uganda is not to the levels that we expect as cooperators or as the cooperative movement. I can say since the establishment of our traditional colleges, like this, the one of Chigumba, Chigumba Cooperative College, that one was established in the commission in 1975. So from 1975, the Cooperative College of Chigumba has been offering certificates, degrees. I've personally been there for a certificate course in leadership for change. We have the Cooperative College of Tororo. So we, as cooperators, as a Uganda Cooperative Alliance, we feel we should move to higher levels. That's why on this note I would like to thank Professor Mindra for that initiative, partnering with the International University of Mosh, to have the institutions offer cooperative education across different levels. Personally, I graduated from Ndeje University last week with a degree in cooperatives and agribusiness management.
Okay.
But, you know, we were wondering with my colleagues, who were like, now what happens? Are we boarding a plane to Kenya? Are we going to Arusha? You know? So it was a little complex, and, you know, the cost in it and all the resources. So we really appreciate if our institutions in Uganda take up cooperative education to higher levels. We want to see people do the masters in cooperatives, PhDs. A week ago, we were in Chigumba, we were interacting with the principal of Chigumba. And he was also, you know, he told us about a partnership with the University of, Cooperative University of Kenya, where they went through that, the memorandums of understanding to also, you know, transform, of course, start with the partnerships, but eventually have the Cooperative College of Chigumba transform into the university, Chigumba University of Cooperatives, which would be ideal. And having them across the country would also be good, because MUBS is central, so we would embrace the programs at MUBS. Chigumba upgraded, it would be so good, because, you know, this was constructed in 1970. A government even at that time acquired the loan, the same infrastructure which is there up today. So they need to be supported, because we need the foundation. That's why Chigumba is our focus as well. We need it as one of the traditional institutions. So personally, I graduated from Ndeje. The private institutions have taken on this, like Ndeje University. They're offering the courses, and like Professor said, the integration of the different course units, accounting, management, you know, business. Because I remember when you read the colonial times, they would focus on bookkeeping, which was more of accounting, accountability in cooperatives, how they manage the resources. So it is our dream, it is our initiative as Uganda Cooperative Alliance to promote our principle of education, training and information, and integrate it in the bigger picture of the education sector in Uganda, because we see even government is focusing on the PDMs. We would be having the parish chiefs who are being trained in cooperatives to guide the growth of these cooperatives at the parish levels. So want it taken up to higher levels so that more Ugandans would benefit. And at the end of the day, it would also bring in better results in the parish development more than the different government initiatives if people are educated in those lines and we work towards maintaining the cooperative principles
Okay, okay. I like how you glow when you talk about cooperatives, Justin. But let me go back to the professor. But before I do that, you can join this conversation. We are speaking matters cooperative education in Uganda. If you have any questions, I have a professor here. She is the associate professor and also dean of Faculty of Commerce at Makerere University Business School, and that is Professor Rachel Mindra. So if you have any questions for her or even to Justin Kainza, who is the head of partnerships at Uganda Cooperative Alliance, please get to us through WhatsApp number 0709 602 592. Share your views regarding the same. You can also ask some questions. They will be answered by the professor or Justin. Professor, coming back to you, let's look at academic institutions and you work with one. So how are you, or how are academic institutions working with cooperatives to provide practical training to students?
Okay. Thank you, Olive, for that great question. I want to start by saying, if we begin to reflect on where the country is going, we have seen amendments or changes in the curriculum, especially at preliminary level, and we are seeing what that means. Sorry, we are seeing what that means. We have to become more practical and no longer theoretical in the way we are doing business, in the way we are developing or designing our curriculum. And this is why I'm here with Justin. We have said, can institutions, we have now, they say we have come down from the ivory tower to partner with the industry-led organizations who understand the actual problems. For us as academic institutions, we understand them through research. And we've done so much research, and we found that this research aligns with the issues that the industry is actually bringing to the table. They're actually saying that these are the challenges we have. And when we go back to research, we find that these are the challenges we have. So we have come down from the ivory tower to say, let us partner with the industry, let us go down to the grassroots, and then let's design programs that are market-led, that are responsive to the gaps that we are seeing in the current education provision. I can tell you that Uganda, people may go around saying our education system, but I can tell you our education system is great. What we need to accept is to say we can improve it a little more to make it more impactful. So as academic institutions, we have been very, very particular, and I want to give credit to National Council of Higher Education, which is our regulator, who have said now you cannot have a program approved by National Council of Higher Education. Even our quality assurance processes as institutions, your program will not be approved if it has not demonstrated now almost 40% of practicability or application in terms of running the program. I think some of you had some of our programs were not yet accredited, and there were issues there, but also because of the, we are now churning out several programs because we are responding to market needs and the new trends. Digitization has become part of the conversation. Today, there is no program that can be approved if there is no aspect of digitization and a practicability. My specialization, for instance, is finance, banking, and investment. Now, my coursework, I'll tell my students that I teach finance, go walk down to Nakawa Business Park and open up an SCD account, that is an investment account, to start investment, your investment journey in year one. You get it? Go and see what unit trusts are doing, because I'm telling my students, save and invest as a young person. They must go out and actually do. We teach entrepreneurship and innovation. at the university, for instance, and many other universities, I may not speak for them today, have developed incubation and entrepreneurship hubs. They're even bringing entrepreneurs to incubate their startups. At the business school, we have a program on entrepreneurship. Students who do business entrepreneurship and management. These are given a platform. Every Friday there's a market. There's an opportunity for them to pitch their businesses. What does that mean? We're putting what we are teaching in practice. And I cannot say we have arrived. We are in the process of aligning ourselves. So these students that are going to come to the university through the new curriculum, which is literally practical-based curriculum or skills-based curriculum, is coming to us. So if we don't prepare ourselves as institutions of higher learning to embrace this student, the students will get frustrated. So what we are doing is to prepare ourselves to consult. Part of our program development process and part of the approval process, we must bring to the table stakeholders, different stakeholders, employees, employers, alumni. We bring the industry, the companies to tell us how can we align our programs to enable our students get integrated into the world of employment, the world of entrepreneurship, the world of policy. Now we are developing cooperatives programs. We have to bring to the table Ministry of Cooperatives, Trade and Industries. We have to go back to bring to the table our colleagues from Chigumba and Tororo to ask them what do we need to do in terms of providing higher level education for cooperatives. So partnerships and collaborations have become very, very pertinent in understanding how we can make our programs very, very practical and deliver on that front, and also to give value to our students and to the citizens who come to our institutions of higher learning, to elevate and to empower them in terms of that expectation as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before I go back to Justin, just one small one, because there are people watching right now, and before you invest or become not self-employed actually, before you become a business person, some people want to go into work first, save some money, and then they can invest. So in what ways can cooperative education improve employment opportunities for the youth?
Okay. So, Olive, great question there, but I want to give a disclaimer. Some people are not born to be entrepreneurs or to run businesses.
Yes.
I can tell you.
Yes.
So those ones will thrive in the world of being employed.
Employment.
But probably some entrepreneurs come up because of necessity or because of experience. After working so hard, maybe there are things you learn or there are challenges you experience that then force you to run or start a business. So the opportunities in cooperatives are immense, just like any profession. When you look, and I don't want to do Justin's job. Justin and Ivan do justice when they're explaining what cooperatives are. But cooperatives are like a business. Cooperatives are like a business which have full-blown structures like any company. There'll be, I'll give an example of Wazalendo. This is one of the very successful cooperatives in this country.
Isn't it the most successful?
I want to give credit to others who have not mentioned, right? But this is a typical example of a cooperative that is running a business. It's actually like a company. It has a CEO, it has a finance management, it has auditors, it has managers, it has different segments that deal with partnerships, that deal with resource mobilization, CSR. You've seen what they've done in terms of their CSR arm. They have a strategic part, they have a full governance structure. That means our students can actually go and work in these cooperatives. Can actually, we see what these cooperatives, they need capacity building. They can become trainers. The moment you have this paper, you can actually go and build capacity. You can go and train. You can actually make a contribution in various ways, because when you have education, when you have a paper, it has given you an opportunity, it has opened a first door for you that you have technical expertise. So where in the cooperative space or sector can you provide that? Is it in resource mobilization? Is it as a financial manager or a person contributing in that department? Is it a person dealing with the entrepreneurial side of enhancing cooperatives business? Because we want cooperatives to start operating as businesses, not to just say, we save money, we lend money, we lend money. There is more capacity that cooperatives have. They have the capacity to innovate. They have the capacity to contribute to value chains. We have procurement and purchasing as a program at MOOBS. These are students who can actually go and provide their services to these cooperatives. Leadership has very many arms. Management has very different many arms. So Olive, the response there is to say, the way we look at ordinary employment in MTN Uganda, Airtel, in UCA, at MOOBS, this is exactly how all these students who undertake all these programs can actually go and be employed and even also start their own cooperatives, because we know the president, as you heard in the advert before we started, is encouraging people to start cooperatives, to get into cooperatives and build themselves and build this country. So I don't know if I've been direct, but I'm telling you that the opportunities are there, both in terms of a career, a profession, but also as a business, for them to improve their quality of life and contribute to the development of this country.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor. Now, Justin Kayinza, there is a question here coming in from John in Buweswa. He says he's John from Buweswa Growers Cooperative Society located in eastern Uganda, and he's inquiring on how cooperative leaders can get capacity building from Uganda Cooperative Alliance.
Thank you so much, John, for watching from Buweswa. And we are happy that this is also one of the avenues that we are doing the cooperative education. As Uganda Cooperative Alliance, training, capacity building, that's one of our key roles. That's one of our key mandate areas. So Buweswa leadership needs to get in touch with Uganda Cooperative Alliance. In fact, we are going out to the field soon to do monitoring, because we also reach out when we do monitoring of performance of our cooperatives. That's how we identify the gaps. So thank you so much that he has pointed out that need. He needs to approach Uganda Cooperative Alliance, and we interact more with him on probably which areas of training that they may need. So he's welcome. It's because it's one of our key mandates, capacity building is. So we are going to get in touch with him and see how best, because the need might differ from cooperative to cooperative, may not be the same across.
Okay, and this one is from Semakula Joseph, who is the PCO Mitiana MC, and he says a product of Chigumba 1994, but as a commercial officer in Uganda, we would like to have, as commercial officers in Uganda, would like to have a joint engagement managed by Uganda Cooperative Alliance in form of a refresher or induction course to be on the same page when it comes to cooperative education of our community, if socio-economic transformation is to be achieved well. That is Semakula Joseph. What would you say to that, Justin?
That is, in fact, that's the more reason we are getting into the partnerships, like with MOOBS, like Professor said, they've designed different packages, the certificates, the degrees, the master's programs. So this is the reason we are coming up with these partnerships, to ensure that cooperative education, for him, he was lucky, he attended in Chigumba, where I also did at one time, but we also want other parts of the country, want students across the country to access these services. In fact, among our programs, we're also targeting the commercial officers, because in their training, they tend to focus over, of course, it's a financial course, financial management, but the area of cooperatives not much effort has been placed on understanding the cooperative ideology. So as Uganda Cooperative Alliance, this is one of the areas we are advocating for, because actually the law says we should have cooperative officers at the sub-counties, but at the moment government has no capacity to recruit them now. So the commercial officers are the ones doing the cooperative work in the districts. And I agree with John that indeed we need capacity building, at least those refresher courses to align what is happening in the cooperative world and the actual work that the commercial officers are implementing in the different districts. We appreciate them so much because at the moment they are our foot soldiers as the cooperative movement, and indeed we are working towards that. That's why we're getting to such partnerships and shall continue also engaging the traditional colleges like Chigumba and Tororo to ensure that the capacities are enhanced, because capacity is continuous. It can't be one day.
Okay. And this one is from Osbert. He says, I'm Akinsimire Osbert. Thanks for teaching us, but I'm requesting to know, can you reach us in Mubende district so that we can have more knowledge? That's still for you, Justin.
Yes. Thank you so much. It's good to even have our regional coordinators, and please feel free to interact with UCM. UCA, we are on Nkrumah Road, plot 4749. So please reach out to us. Uganda Cooperative Alliance is the apex board of all cooperatives in the country. So we are your parent, we are your father. So we are so happy to get this feedback, and surely we shall get in touch with you to ensure that we understand and appreciate the different challenges or needs in the cooperatives across the country.
Okay. And the last question, this one says, good morning, Professor. I have my boy who sat senior 6 in 2022. Can he join the cooperative course?
Okay. Thank you very much for that. I like that enthusiasm. At the moment, we are finalizing the procedures for the programs, but as soon as we advertise, these will certainly be broadcasted and advertised, and UCA will reach out to the different regions to indicate this. The S6 person at the moment may not be able, because they start this year in August, so it may be delayed a bit. I encourage him to, in the interim, apply for what is already available, but as we have these short courses and programs, he can do them concurrently. At the business school, our students have time to get other short courses. We have students who study SCCA, CPA at the same time, do CFA, and do other certifications on the side. So we shall be able to support such a student to expose them to maybe a very specific certification, and then perhaps later they can get onto a postgraduate diploma. That is going to be our first churn-out, our first rollout, and we have also developed a bachelor's and also master's program, and then consequently a PhD. So at the moment, he may not be able to get on that because we've not had the programs fully certified by National Council for Education, but we are looking at next year to advertise these programs. So that could be my response. But these are in the pipeline, and we are putting all the energy to prepare these programs for the public.
All right, thank you. And I had said lastly, but now lastly, Joseph from Soroti says, if I want to access your training, how possible will it be? In which way can I access your training? Is it possible to do it online? That's, I think, for the professor.
Okay. As a business school, we have, we are aligning ourselves, especially after COVID. We realize that blended learning is the way to go. Today, I can assure you that we teach 50% of our programs online and the other 50 physical. So once we realize the need for the virtual engagements, we shall certainly be able to serve that market as well. Because we are aware that not everybody can come to Nakawa, but also we have our campuses. We have a campus in Mbara, Rebikona area. We have a campus in Jinja. We have a campus in Arua. So those are Nimbale. Those are our regional campuses. And we shall reinforce these with the different dimensions to ensure that we reach out and are able to provide education to as many citizens as possible wherever they are.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor. I have been speaking to Associate Professor Rachel Mindra, who is the Dean Faculty of Commerce at Makerere University Business School. And also, I've been speaking to Justin Kaiza, who is the Head of Partnerships at the Uganda Cooperative Alliance. And the topic of discussion was cooperative education in Uganda. Thank you so much for being a part of the conversation, and thank you for the feedback, the questions. I hope that you got the answers that you needed, and we will catch you tomorrow again at 6:30 in the morning. But Good Morning Uganda does continue as Ruben Pima is right here to take us through sports updates. Stick around.
Live from UBC Studio.